Right guys, how you doing? You enjoying the Angst tonight? I'm loving this. Themed nights can go so horribly wrong, but this is absolutely fantastic. And one of my favourite moments of tonight was Tim Clare's beautifully innocuous reference earlier to smoking drugs, which just kind of really summed up, because I really wanted to write some gritty, hardcore shit when I was sort of 12, 13. I wanted to write sort of Judy Blume type, but misery memoir crossover about bad shit happening, but nothing bad had ever happened to me. In fact, nothing had happened to me. I was 12, so I wish I still had that, and sadly a lot of my juvenilia got eaten up with my parents' old Apple Mac, which was roughly the size of a fridge, so I don't have much poetry now. I've got a couple, but it's mainly journal entries. And just on that whole smoking drugs thing, like, you know, you sometimes wonder if kids these days are still as innocent as they used to be, and are they really kind of scary little hoodie-type criminals? And I was doing a youth slam with a bunch of kids, and there was this adorable girl about 13 who had a line in one of her poems that went like, "Score some drugs and snort some weed." I just thought that was so cute. I wanted to take her home with me. It has to be your stuff, so I can't embarrass this poor child. This has to actually be about me.
Sadly.
I know. I sincerely wished I'd smoked some drugs. So anyway, this is my diary from God knows, very, very, very long time ago. It's kind of functioning as more of a visual aid, but you can tell it's vintage by the fact that it has a sticker on the front that says "Eat my shorts." Full lineup of Bethnal and a picture of a kitten. Just to give you some context, so you probably can't see this, but this is me about the time that the first entry was quite a powerful look there. I was a 12-year-old puppy fat, enormous sweater. God, I hate what I look like. Wish I still had the leggings though, because they're quite fashionable now. And I also have a "Don't Open That Trapdoor" bed cover in that picture, so you can tell that I am actually the Don. And this is about my first boyfriend, and since I discovered I was a gay, only boyfriend, probably, Owen Welsh. And this was written when I was 1994, age 12. One good thing about being gay, I was quite precocious in that regard, is you're able to have boys as your friends without any mention of romance. Also, I think the boy might find it easier to talk to the girl without having to wonder whether she was leching over him or not, though most of the boys I know would be choking for it. There are some boys who don't mind being friends with girls, like Owen. Owen is a really open-minded person for a boy. He's also pretty mature. That's when he's not getting pissed and listening to too much Guns N' Roses, because I think Axl Rose is a dick, and I read somewhere that his real name is Bill. You know what's weird though? I don't remember our first kiss. I remember what I wore on our dates, how much skin cream I put on, what film we saw, Beethoven, what t-shirt Owen was wearing, and when we made a boat in technology class and it had a denim sail and didn't float. I remember we watched Alien's birthday party, gave him, and how Jason would Kit Kats, but I don't remember our first kiss. How weird, it just seems so natural, like the time we sat on the school trip to the planetarium with our arms around each other. My ex-best friend, Claire Holmes, asked me how I got it on with Owen and how to be good at getting off with boys, because she wants to snog this lad called John. And I couldn't tell her because it was something I couldn't explain. What I don't get is why he chose to go out with me, a swat like wet who cries at just about everything with overprotective parents. Now I suppose I'm equally undesirable, a bitchy, at the moment anyway, lesbian, whose parents are still overprotective. And who cares, because despite what I just said, I like myself. I'm going to grow up to be a sad neurotic, ever, amen. That's the fear. It can be a really sad. A year or so ago, long after we'd broken up, I sent a card saying how much I loved him. And wanted again. Cringe. I've been so pathetic. He said no, but he's still my ex-best friend Claire hang out with each other, and she's not my ex-best friend for that reason, my ex-best friend because she's a prat. I didn't care. Well, I did, but how pissed off I was? No. Anyway, Claire's a man each from a sad tart, and he'll... So another visual aid here. My parents recently sent this to me. This is how kosher this thing is. And it's got a lot of interesting doodles on it, which are totally incomprehensible. But this one looks like some boobs, which is quite strange. I don't know what that is, but it's got a kind of phallic element about it. So God knows what's going on in my mind. And this is a love poem about CJ. The initials are to hide the fact that it's about a chick. Please do feel free to jump in with any of the really obvious rhymes in this one. Love poem about CJ. I love you. I could fall into the brown pools you got for eyes and never come to the surface again. And B, I never used to say you've or you have, despite being demonstrably posh, just thought this was straight. Anyway, I love you. I'm drowning as it is. I love you better than any men. I want to hold your hair, smell the way you smell into your dark eyes and see my reflection. I could touch your hand and die a happy woman, because you're perfection. I know I'm crazy, but I don't care. You drove me up the wall with those big dark eyes like a deer you got. I could touch your dark hair, it would feel silk. God, do I love you. A lot. I actually found this in the diary while I was reading it at work earlier, which was excellent fun. And this is a poem that well, it's not a poem, it's a sort of list really, which I wrote about this girl in my class when I was about 15 called Zoe Hagan. And I really hope none of you know her. And if you ever do meet Zoe Hagan, and even if there's a really uncomfortable silence where you just feel like you want to say something to her to kind of, that you think she might be interested in, please, 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 don't ever mention this. This is written in the form of an acrostic, which is a poem popular with illiterate Victorians. Z. Zillion times better looking than anyone else. O. Object of my obsession. E. Extremely excellent at everything. H. Honoured member of the in-group. A. Amazingly quiet, restrained and intolerant of twats like me. G. Greek goddess. E. Elitist. N. Not gay. Damn, damn, damn. So this is a 14 going on 15, and occasionally I still get asked, you know, what would you guys do in bed? And if you'd asked me at this age, I wouldn't have been able to tell you, so that's what this entry's about. So, 14 going on 15. If this diary is someday discovered, in the year 3000 after my death, by a gorgeous gay woman with good cheekbones, can she or you please tell me why it's okay for a 30-year-old woman, that's really old obviously, who's been abused by her uncle and her husband and been forced to play with Barbie and Ken dolls, suddenly wakes up one morning and decides she's gay, whereby she climbs into dungarees, shaves all her hair off, tattoos her clitoris and stomps around in Birkenstocks waving "all men are bastards" signs, then ends up in jail for doing something nice like shooting Andy Warhol, and people still take her seriously. However, when an almost 15-year-old girl, not a tomboy, not butch, and not Claudia Schiffer, horny, intelligent, sorted, finally, still a virgin, had a loving childhood, decides she's gay, forget about it. Nobody understands me. I am old enough to be sexy, and I'm sick of living like a goddamn nun. I want to have sex and have fun. Do you know I've never even kissed a girl? Beth Jordache did better than me, and she had Trevor as a father, for God's sake. Dates it, no? Guess what? I don't even know how to make love. I don't know how to do it. They don't do manuals on it, you know, and it's not like you have to read The Joy of Sex or that section in your biology textbook about sperm. It's all over the place, not sperm, heterosexual sex. I should have paid attention in the playground at age 9 when I was gratuitously informed about the things lesbians do together. Straight love is in every movie, every TV show. Gay love, where? In movies it's all, put the do not disturb sign on the door, or even, why Miss Celia, I think you're beautiful. Either that, or it's all shot tastefully from the waist up with a lot of nipple sucking. Or there's no sex at all, but a lot of meaningful glances, hand clasps, iconic moments and Bonnie Raitt songs. Or, as is more common, the lesbian gets shot, hangs herself, has a tree fall on her, jumps off a cliff, is impaled by a stake or is set fire to, before the sex becomes an issue, as you do. Just watch The Celluloid Closet, I was quite bitter. Even in books, it always ends tastefully. No, Julie Cooper, please, we're homos before anyone even gets their kit off. Diary, I know this is crude, but what am I going to do? The only book I know of is The Art of Lesbian Love, and if I buy that, the guy who runs the bookshop will look at me weirdly forever. You know, I've even toyed with the idea of shoplifting it, but if I got caught, that'd be even more humiliating. I know there's a lot of kissing and cuddling and nipple sucking, but aside from that, I'm clueless. What about vibrators? Bondage, God forbid S&M. I know masturbating has something to do with it, but I find it undignified. I'm not saying I never do it, but I can't imagine bringing anyone to the heights of... especially if I hadn't curls. I'm just going to finish with this, which I scribbled on one of my art pages. I have always had a bit of a thing for limericks, and this one's very, very basic. There once was a girl called SB who sadly went out of her tree. She lives in a pit and her brain's full of shit. Too bad that that person is me.